here's a little demonstration on how to fit the turret into the subframe for the coilover conversion kit. Deborah's doing this to show you how easy it is to fit. Slide it in position, line the 2 bottom screws, like that. Put the 2 top ones in place as well, just to line those so we know it's square. Nip those 2 bottoms just slightly a bit more so it's just nipped, and then tap the turret into position. And make sure it's as far up as possible. Now just nip the 2 bottom screws up so they're tight. There you go. Once that's done, we then drill 3 holes. 1, 2, 3 with a 10mm drill. I've already done this because you don't want to see me struggling, do you? Okay, once those 3 holes are drilled, you remove the turret again by taking the 2 top screws out. And then the 2 bottom screws. As you can see, that hole, the one in the back, so there's 2 at the sides that are drilled. I'm going to pause it there for the next stage. Here's a little tip for fitting the top arm, which is the next stage. I've used a bit of cling film over the washer and then put the rubber seal over. That's holding it in place, because if that drops out you may not notice and you'll end up with a lot of float. So just align the top arm use a little bolt, or what I'm using is a little taper drill here to align it. comes through, and then just loosely fit. Actually, there's a washer, should go on there first. These, you get new ones in the kit, new washer, new nut. So, new washer and nut on that end. This plate here has to line up again with the 2 screw holes. This one and this one. The back one has a captive nut on the inside. Line that. I'm assuming that you've cleaned all these threads out like I did. Degreased it. And the front one has a nut on the inside here. I'll just put that in. Tap it in a bit more. This one lines through on this side. I don't know where. Right, look, you can tighten these up. They're an M8. Sorry, they're M6, but use a 8 socket spanner. Snip these, you have to be fully tight at this point. Just snip them so that everything's lining up. That's just partially nipped. You use a 19mm socket. Tighten this. Obviously, just use a torque wrench to get the right setting. I'm just going to nip this up. Pull that away now, and the seal should fit nicely. I'm not lifting those up, obviously, just to save time. That's no play at all in that, no sideways play. Nice and smooth up and down. Next thing to do is to put this spacer tube here using an M10 from the inside. Reach over, and you can do it like that. Just put it in so it's loose. It doesn't have to be very tight at this stage, because you've got to line this up. So the turret has to go back in now. You can see how that lines up there. So you put that centre M10 cap head in just to hold it, stop it all falling about, and then we can then fit the retaining screws in. There's a large washer on each one. This is to put any oil in. I've already put some oil in when we first fitted it, but you can just top it in. You don't completely fill it with oil, because the up and down movement of the arm will cause it to pump out through the seals. So it just wants to be probably halfway. Little tip here. I put these in from the back. The two middle screws, because it's easier to put the Allen key in there to tighten it up. So you can do that, and the same here. You can get the Allen key into the back, which is easier than getting the spanner in there. So that's going that way. Oops, I've got to put this washer on that side, but no worries. And the two top ones go in again, as before. Washer on this side. What we do there is just lever it in position so we know it's right up against on the subframe, and then nip those, and we'll go through and tighten these up as well. Okay, while you guys are being away, I've tightened everything up here so the turret's in place, and now the shock absorber assembly is going to go in place. Now, before you put this in, make sure the spring seat's fully down. Okay. And the spring's compressed, the shock absorber's pushed right down. Obviously, it has to go in that configuration, not that configuration. It's easy to mix it up. That's it. And it's as easy as that. Slides down into the top arm, push it right down past the alignment hole where the bolt goes in, so it's as fully far down as possible. But the next thing to do is to put the 3 screws in the top, which you can either do from here or from the top. Okay, the top mount, which we're going to do next, as you can see it's not fastened in. Align it, put one of the screws in. What I suggest you do is just to keep it flush at the top there for this point at this time. Don't fully tighten these up, just put them in finger tight so this can move up and down. Right, what I've done is the top mount is in loose, so it can be, allows this to be adjusted up and down. Just line it through, put the bolt in, simple as. There's no need to bash it, bish bash bosh. Now, before you fully tighten this, the car has to be down on the ground or the suspension up, so that's not fully tightened, it's still loose, as you can see. So until this is all assembled and it's down, had some weight on it, otherwise this will give a false preload on the suspension and it won't act as it should. Once that's in, we can wind this up a little bit, and then we will tighten the 3 top mounts. From inside. What we do with this is to make sure that top mount is flush with the top of the turret, and then it can be torqued up. The torque setting on this is 50 to 55 Newton meters. Just torque, gradually tighten all 3 up together, not one then the other, just gradually nip each one up.
Maybe I should have paused that.
Pause now.
No.
Okay. Once that's tightened up, you can then take some slack out of this spring and shock. So the spring has some preload on it. As such. Now, some of you may have noticed this is an old design before we did the camber adjustment on the Mark 3 and 4. And the reason I haven't fitted a camber adjustment on this one is because of this here. This is one of my designs to allow you to adjust the camber using this adjustable screw thread there. So there's no need to adjust the camber here when it's available here. I'm also replacing this ball joint at the top, just so everything is new. I'm going to show you at the front of the car how the camber adjustment will work on that. Okay, we've moved to the front of the car because this has the camber adjustment kit. This is actually a Mark 3. We're now on to Mark 4, but it's more or less identical, except for some minor changes. So the top arm has this sliding boss with a taper for the top ball joint. There's no suspension here, so I'm just showing you a ball joint. That fits in there. And then I have these shims, because obviously you can move it forward or backwards. My recommendation is set it as far back as possible. Insert the shims, which should be on this particular one. There's 8 shims. That's okay. So a tightish fit in there. Once that's in place, camber lock plate, this locks it, but it also allows it to slide here. And there's also provided in the kit is a new tab washer for the. So that's, once you've got it in place, this is just snip down, stop the whole thing moving. Once you've set the camber by adjusting the shims, you can take them out at the front, put them in the back to get whatever camber setting you want. Then tighten that up, bend this lock tab over, front and back, obviously that up, and lock that down onto the top arm as well. And that's the camber locking plate. Okay, also in the suspension kit is this anti-roll bar offset plate here. Basically what you do is take the anti-roll bar off, mount this plate, and the anti-roll bar sits back 20mm from the original position. And this is to avoid it fouling the new top arm, because obviously the standard arm is offset to this side. So that just clears the top arm from the anti-roll bar, and then the anti-roll bar is bolted back into this link. Just as a final comment, once all the suspension is fitted, clearly you've got to have it 4-wheel alignment, and the alignment settings, recommended alignment settings, is included in the kit. So that's essential that the whole car is set up properly to get the benefit from the new suspension. And again, also you can set the ride height and the damper settings here. So you've got complete adjustability of height, damper settings and camber on this latest Mark IV suspension kit.
We hope you find Mike Satur's tutorial helpful. If you have any questions or any queries, just drop us a line or give him a call, and he's quite happy to help. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.